It's about time with Rashan's About Time Boxing, aka Mr. Trill 100 Mil. Y'all already know my spiel, man. Thank you to every single one of y'all who has been taking out the time to watch the videos, like the videos, share the videos, and leave the comments. If you have not already subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel and support the channel. Um, any donations is accepted. I don't care if it's a penny. It's all accepted. You can donate to the channel. My Cash App is all capital letters. Rashan's Bout Time Boxing, BOXIN, and PayPal at RAS, RASBTB. Please encourage others to subscribe to the channel too as well. And don't forget to hit the notification button to stay up on the latest with Rashan's Bout Time Boxing. This episode of Rashan's About Time Boxing is sponsored by Dr. Paul Hopkins, Doctor of Naturopathy. Y'all can contact him at www.drpaulherbs.com, specializing in African holistic health care, natural herbs, natural health, chronic disease, master trainer certified in chronic disease and self-management. He's a graduate of Stanford University. And certified by the International Board of African Thinkers. Okay. And if you need to email him, again, you can email him at Dr. Paul at drpaulherbs.com. To schedule an appointment, you can call 215-779-7355 and just let them know that you were referred by Rashan's About Time Boxing. That's the hashtag Rashan's About Time Boxing or RBTB. This episode is also sponsored by Wayne Avenue Health Store, 5007 Wayne Avenue, Philadelphia, PA, 19144. Phone number is 215-420-4302. Guaranteed to serve all of your health needs. If you they deliver locally if you live in the city of Philadelphia, and they ship worldwide. If you call to place an order, if you spend $25 or more, you get a 10% discount. Just call when you call to place the order. Just use code word or hashtag RBTB or Rashan's About Time Boxing. Now we got all that out the way. So I've been getting a lot of catching a lot of heat about this whole thing. Everybody talking about Jaron Ennis is ducking Vergil Ortiz. Oh, Boots ain't looking good out here, man. No ducking, man. He ducking Vergil. Why he ain't take the fight? You know he's ducking Vergil. He should have took the fight. He should have took the fight. But excuse the phone. But you know, and listen, and for the people who who sent those messages, listen, I appreciate y'all and I respect y'all opinion. But a lot of people really do need to do their research and get, because and it's a lot of clickbait going on out here. Timothy Bradley and Sean Porter are the two biggest Uncle Toms in the boxing industry, as far as I'm concerned. They have Uncle Tom like behavior, because these are two people who praised Jaron Ennis at one point, gave him his props, and talked about how top guys are going to stay away from him and all this type of stuff. Now y'all going around talking about he's overrated, and all of this is just over 2 fights that he had with Karen Chukasan. This is what all this is over. And now, everybody talking about he's ducking Vergil Ortiz. Now I'm gonna play something from Eddie Hearn, and then we're gonna discuss that. And then I'll go a little further.
Apparently, of a last-minute version change in wanting him to be at 147 instead of 154. Can you clarify? For a last-minute change for it to be at 147, we received an offer about 3 days ago for the fight at 147. Not from us, not us trying to get the fight at 147. That is how it was written in the offer to us. We took it back to Jaron. Obviously, that's fine with us. We went back to them and say, yes, we'll accept, but are you sure this is at 47? They went away, they came back and they said, no, we spoke to Golden Boy, sorry, it will be at 154, you got to vacate your title. Okay, well, this is a big decision, we're going to have to go back. This was about 24, 48 hours ago. On Thanksgiving, We were asked to make a decision, and his answer was, I just don't know. I'm not ready to make a decision if I'm going to vacate my belt. And that's it. And that's all it is. So if we've got time to make a decision, maybe he does it. But if it's to make a decision tonight or tomorrow, I'm not sure he will. If he moves to 54, he'll 100% fight Vergil Ortiz. If he doesn't, he'll unify at 147. And that's over to him.
That's one that already Boots has actually tweeted that he didn't know anything about in terms of negotiations going on.
There's been no negotiations. All we did was receive an offer about 3 days ago. So all this stuff from, we've been in we haven't. We received an offer to do the fight at 47. We accepted. We went back, we checked. We were then told it was 54. And we said, okay, well, we've got to talk as a team to decide if we're going to go to 54. But what you're not going to see is him go to 54 and not fight Vergil Ortiz. I promise you that.
All right, so you heard Eddie Hearn say we were made an offer, and this was around Thanksgiving. They was made an offer. Vergil Ortiz team made an offer to them, and the initial offer was at 147, and they accepted it. And then Vergil Ortiz team turned around and said, oh no, we made a mistake. We want to fight at 154. But if you take the fight at 154, now listen, but if you take the fight at 154, you got to vacate your belt. So because Jaron Ennis and Team Ennis want to take their time to think about whether we want to vacate the belt or not, now he's ducking Vergil Ortiz because of that. How come nobody didn't say to Vergil team, like, well, why did y'all make the initial issue? Why did y'all make the initial offer at 147 at welter? Why'd y'all want to fight at 147 and then switch it and say 54? Because all of this stuff was designed to make it look like Boots is so-called ducking Vergil Ortiz now. Y'all really, really believe he's scared or ducking Vergil Ortiz? And then they try to put the heat like, oh, well, no, you got to make a decision right now. So if you don't decide right now, we switch it to 154. But if you don't make the decision right now, if you don't say, yeah, you're going to fight us and vacate the belt, or we're going to say you ducking. So because Boots said, well, I don't know if I want to vacate my belt or not. Nobody said Terrence Crawford was ducking Jaron Ennis when Bud, allowed himself to get stripped of the IBF title. Nobody said Boots was nobody said that Terrence Crawford was ducking Boots Ennis when he decided to go up to 154 as opposed to staying at 47 and defending his welterweight belts. Because remember, Terrence Crawford got stripped of the belt because he wouldn't fight Boots at 147 because Boots was the mandatory next in line to fight. Nobody put no pressure on Bud and say, oh man, well, why don't you just stay at 47 and fight him and then go up to 54? And even I said that that Bud wasn't ducking him. His agenda was just different. But because Jaron Ennis said, hey, well, listen, I need time to think about if I want to vacate my belt or not. So let's say Boots do vacate the belt and go up to 54. And now all the champions talking about they want to try to unify. Then the narrative down there is going to be, oh, well, Boots went up to 47 to fight Vergil because he was scared to fight us. He knew what we was going to do, especially that peasy head clown, Brian Norman Sr., him and his son, he was going, oh, man, that's why he went up to 54. He was scared to fight us. He going to run up. And he already said, oh, look at Boots trying to run up to 54 now. This was after the Karen fight. So because he said, well, look, I need time to think about it. But I credit Bozy Ennis, Boots Ennis, Eddie Hearn, Team Ennis for like, listen, we're not going to be pressured. Because guess what? Terrence Crawford said, hey, I'm not going to fight him. So if y'all want to take the belt, Bud said, F the IBF, y'all can go ahead and give him that belt. I don't care. He had the other 3 belts. And then when he decided to go up to 54 to fight Madrimov, then he vacated all of those other belts after he beat Madrimov. But Bud was patient with himself and didn't care about what the people abroad or the boxing fans or critics thought. He stuck to his guns. So because Jaron Ennis and Team Ennis is saying, well, we want to take our time. And just like Eddie Hearn said, it was no negotiations. It wasn't like they were sitting at the table like, okay, you can go. Now, I guarantee you, if Boots was able to keep his belt, and go up to 54 and fight him and then have an opportunity to come back down and unify, it would have been a no-brainer. But see, nobody not looking at that part. But he would have to vacate his belt just to fight Vergil Ortiz. And he said, well, I don't know if I want to do that or not. I want to see if I can get a unification fight with one of these scared champions down here. Brian Norman Jr., Mario Barrios. You saw how he looked in his last fight against Abel Ramos, who was ducking Jaron Ennis too in 2019 or 2020 when he was the WBA champion. And Stanionis, who has the WBA belt now. And they was promising Boots that fight for the WBA title years ago. And they never gave it to him. So all this stuff about Jaron Ennis is ducking Vergil Ortiz, man, come on, man. Y'all know, y'all really need to stop that. Because if y'all going to say Jaron Ennis is ducking Vergil Ortiz, then y'all need to say Terrence Crawford ducked Jaron Ennis. And I'm not saying that, listen, I'm not taking no shots at Bud, so I don't want nobody. I'm just speaking in terms. Those are two of my favorite fighters, Bud and Jaron Ennis. Two of my favorite fighters. I got a few, but they in my top 5, 10. And y'all gonna say because they didn't accept the offer right away, that's a duck? The IBF told Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence, whoever wins the undisputed between y'all two, y'all next fight got to be against Jaron Ennis for the IBF title. Unless the rematch clause was exercised and they decided to run it back. And when they, when Spence, decided he was going up to 54 and they were going to try to make the fight at 154, Boots was next in line because there's no undisputed title fight at 154 for 147 crown or belts, titles. So when Spence decided he was going to go up to 54, and Bud really, he wasn't going to fight Boots. So the IBF said, well, if you're not going to fight him, we're going to strip you of the belt. And Bud chose to let them strip him. But nobody said he was ducking Jaron Ennis. Nobody said that. But because Jaron Ennis and Team Ennis want to say, hey, well, listen, we need time to think about this. Like, we ain't going to just give y'all no offer like that. What if, we get a unification fight with one of the champions? Like, so you telling me that they don't have the right to weigh their options? But people that y'all favor got the right to weigh their options. No, well, he shouldn't have the. Look at what Canelo doing. Ain't nobody calling, you know what I mean? Well, people been calling Canelo a duck. He ducking David Benavidez and all that. But everybody who support Canelo, they like, man, he should be able to decide whatever he want to do. Canelo want to go up to 75. Okay. He want to come back down to 68. Okay. He want to go back up to 75. Okay. He want to come back. You know what I mean? Ain't nobody, the people who support Canelo, they ain't saying that, oh, man, oh, so what, man? Canelo the man. He can do what he want. Nobody called Lomachenko a duck when he wouldn't fight Devin Haney at first before Devin had the belt. But Jaron Ennis is ducking. Did y'all see Vergil Ortiz last fight against Surrey Bokachuk? He got dropped twice in a fight. And they still gave him the fight. And it took them 5 rounds just to realize that the knockdown in the first, the punch that he hit him with in the first round when he knocked him down, even though it was a flash knockdown, but it threw his equilibrium off. And did y'all see how Vergil was fighting that fight? Hands down, chin up, chin in, all this stuff he was doing. And y'all talking about Boots is scared of this guy. What about when Boots said that he'd fight Vergil Ortiz back in 2019, 2018, 2020, when he was like, oh, I'll fight him now, and we can fight later. Nobody said Vergil was ducking Boots when Boots wanted to fight him back then. Now, I dare y'all to say Boots wasn't calling him out back then, because, yeah, he was. Because he said the same thing about Gary Russell's brother. Because that's the one who beat Boots in the Olympics. And he was like, no, we can fight now and we can fight later. We ain't, we can fight now and then we could build up another fight later. Boots always been saying he just want to fight the best. But because he wouldn't give Team Ortiz an offer, and they was the ones who reneged on their initial offer. But nobody not questioning that. Now, when Boots fought Thomas Delorme, knocked Delorme out in the first round. Everybody talking about, man, Delorme shot fighter. He ain't nothing no more. You know what I mean? Delorme was good when Bud fought him, when Bud stopped him. But, you know, Boots got him when he was washed up, this, that, and the third. Sean Porter didn't say that, though. Sean Porter said Delorme is not a shot fighter. He's not washed up. He looked fresh. Gave Boots all the credit in the world for it. Now you flip and say he's overrated. And then everybody talking about, oh, man, he ain't beat nobody. Delorme ain't nobody. But in March of 2024, Vergil Ortiz fought Delorme and stopped him in the first round, knocked him out in the first round. But that's a testament to Vergil Ortiz's greatness and how great he is. Yeah, he ready for the top guys. He stopped Delorme in one round. And everybody just overlooking how bad he looked in his fight against Sergey Bokachuk. And that was his last fight. So everybody just forgetting about how he looked in that fight. And if you're gonna say that Boots looked bad against Karen Chukasan just because he went 12 rounds and didn't stop him, because that's what everybody mad about. Like, oh, he fought him twice. He should have knocked him out at least one of those times. I challenge any one of y'all who've never been in a ring probably and never boxed. Y'all can take a year and train for a fight and get in the ring with Karen, and I bet you y'all wouldn't stop him or knock him out or even knock him down. Just because y'all never heard of Karen here in the States don't mean that, you know, this dude is not a slick, skilled veteran fighter. He only has 3 losses. And 2 of them is to Jaron Ennis. And he's only been knocked down twice. And 1 of them is to Boots. Sean Porter and Timothy Bradley, come on, man. Sean Porter still only got 17 knockouts. Timothy Bradley, he might only got 15 or 13 knockouts or something like that. Still to this day, 30-something fights, both of them. 70-something, maybe 80-plus fights between the 2 of them. Boots got 29 knockouts. They just jealous because at the peak of their career, Timothy Bradley and Sean Porter, they wasn't as skilled nor or athletically gifted as Jaron Ennis was. And that's what they jealous of. His skill set, being naturally gifted. Having that, you know, having that natural, that in-ring instinct, you know, knowing where you at all times and knowing how to utilize, you know, them angles, can fight forward from angles, backing up, switch hit. Them guys couldn't do none of that. They both was one-dimensional fighters, and they both used their heads, head-butting people and all that. Neither one of those guys was as gifted or as skilled or as athletically gifted as Jaron Ennis at the peak of both of their careers, and they know it. I dare somebody to say, "Oh, both of those guys combined is better than Boots." And like I said, the only reason why on paper Sean Porter's resume may look a little better is because those guys with the big names that he fought, they knew he didn't pose no threat. They wasn't worried about getting hurt by him. And that's why even when he fought Adrian Broner even knocked him down in the 11th or 12th round. Ask Adrian Broner why he never fought Marcos Maidana. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Come on, man. Jaron Ennis ain't ducking nobody. And he already made it clear that, you know, he wanted to be undisputed at 147. So if that's his goal and his dream, he can't accomplish that. If he was able to hold on to his belt and fight at 54 and then be able to come back down, he would have did it. But they trying to, no, you got to vacate the belt and you got to give us a decision like that. I would have said the same thing. I'd have been like, oh, man, listen, I need time. I'm not going to give you no decision just like that. So y'all can say whatever y'all want. Spin whatever narrative y'all want. Y'all can say I'm ducking. Y'all can say whatever y'all want. But nobody said to Vergil and them, man, well, why didn't y'all just keep the initial offer at 47 and fight for that belt? And then you can vacate it and go back up if you want. And nobody say that, though. You see, it's all about this favoritism bullshit that people be playing in the boxing game. It's that favoritism, who they like. I don't take nothing away from Vergil Ortiz. Nothing. But I know he can't beat Jaron Ennis, and I know a lot of y'all gonna disagree with that, and that's okay. That's okay. But I tell you one thing. Jaron Ennis, Team Ennis, ain't no way in hell they ducking no Vergil Ortiz.